Welcome to our special edition of the Breaking Out podcast, where we'll discuss the satirical aspects of Family Guy Season 11, Episode 23. The main part we are going to be analyzing is the encounter Stewie has with his Armenian neighbors at the beginning of the episode.
Hey, looks like a fun party. Hey, listen, it's 2 a.m. When is your 5-year-old gonna go to sleep?
Soon, very soon. You want weird food wrapped in weird leaves?
Yeah, look, I'm guessing there's some kind of soccer match from your home country going on, and I get that, I do, but some of us are trying to sleep, and I could almost deal with the noise, but it's the cologne, all right? I can smell it in my bed, and I live 2 houses from here. That's how powerful it is, okay? That's how powerful it is.
You like it?
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Out of the 3 satire types that exist, the type that is present in this Family Guy clip is the Horatian satire. This is because in this clip, the satire is lighthearted and meant to entertain the viewer, which aligns with the definition of Horatian satire of being lighthearted and meant to be amusing, not harshly criticizing the topic it is satirizing. If it were to harshly criticize a topic, it would be a different satire type, but due to its cheerfulness, it is a Horatian satire work.
In this specific clip, the stereotypes of Armenian people are being satirized. The funny part is never directly stated, but we can tell the clip is making fun of Armenians just by the tone of Stewie and what is being said in the dialogue. For example, when the Armenian guy tries to offer Stewie weird food wrapped in weird leaves, or when Stewie mentions the strength of the cologne, it is clear that the joke is a stereotype. The mention of the soccer match going on is also one way to distinguish what is being satirized, because Stewie mentions it as if it's something all Armenians do. All these things point to the subject being satirized, which is the stereotypes of Armenians. The argument being made here is a little foggy at first, but after some digging it is clear the argument is rather xenophobic. The argument here is that it's easy to stereotype not only Armenians, but any race. With this clip, the argument is basically to say that Armenians are an easy group to stereotype and make fun of. Of course, the people who wrote this clip don't actually mean it, because this is a Horatian satire. But it does beg the question whether or not the writers want the audience to believe that stereotyping is something normal to do.
Logical extreme is an important element of satire work. In this clip of Family Guy, the logical extreme is when Stewie tells his Armenian neighbor that he can smell his cologne from his bed 2 houses down the street. In this case, this clip demonstrates it because the Armenian neighbor's cologne is so strong that Stewie says he can smell it from his house, but he actually does as he later compliments his neighbor on it. This demonstrates a logical extreme, as logical extremes are ideas that seem to be hyperboles but are realistically possible. The idea that Stewie can smell it from far away seems to be a hyperbole, but it is possible, as when his neighbor asks him if he likes it, he says that he does.
Realism plays a big part in what makes a satire. Having some realism helps the reader/watcher relate to what's going on. Here in this clip, the idea of your next door neighbor being loud and obnoxious is relatable to everyone because we've all had some sort of annoying neighbor. The neighbors have great hospitality also in this clip, even offering Stewie some of their Armenian delicacies. This gesture towards Stewie further makes this clip more realistic. The offering of food also plays into the stereotypical friendliness of the Armenian people. Because the idea of somebody telling his next door neighbor to be quiet is relatable and realistic, the clip paints itself as something that could happen to anybody. But also, the back and forth between Stewie and the Armenian is very realistic because Stewie treats his neighbor with respect and dignity. Even though Stewie would be mad about the noise, he still talks to his neighbor in a nice way, even complimenting his cologne. The treatment of his neighbor makes the clip a lot more realistic.
Irony is a very important satirical element as it builds on the humor in the satire work. In this clip of Family Guy, the irony is when Stewie asks his neighbor when his children are going to sleep, given that it is 2 a.m. However, Stewie is a 1-year-old and is still awake. By asking his neighbor this, he ignores the fact that he is a child and should be asleep too. This irony adds more humor to the already humorous situation. Additionally, Stewie is calm and collected throughout his conversation with his Armenian neighbor, instead of being mad or angry. This is another example of irony in this clip, as we may expect someone who cannot fall asleep due to their neighbors being noisy to be mad, but in this case, Stewie is not mad or angry, but rather calm and collected.
Thank you for listening to the special edition of the Breaking Out podcast. Juan couldn't make it for this episode, but make sure to listen to our other episodes that include the 3 of us, such as our podcast on Shakespeare's King Lear and our episode on censorship of history in schools. This episode is brought to you by Moises Galvez and Giancarlo Casal. Special thanks to Moises Galvez for editing.